Hello, welcome back to another news video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Today we're on Techradar's website for their article. I thought it would be interesting to continue the Gamescom 2025 interviews that got released on various different platforms. This then is obviously on Techradar. All rights belong to them. Please go and give them support. Demi Williams wrote this up. It's all about Monster Hunter crossover with 14, and there's actually some extra bits of detail. So let's go through this. So first of all, Yoshi P sat down with the Techradar group, and it says, according to Final Fantasy XIV's director Naoki Yoshida, Monster Hunter Wilds' upcoming collaboration with the MMO will feature Omega because the Monster Hunter team wanted it to happen. Speaking in an interview with Techradar Gaming at Gamescom 2025, Yoshida explained in pretty simple terms why the crossover will feature the automaton as opposed to a fantasy creature like Final Fantasy XIV Shinryu or Nidhogg. Now, this is actually a bit of point of contention. I've seen a lot of people talk about this on social media, complaining that it's a robot essentially coming from 14. Bit of an interesting one, honestly, especially if you've no idea what Final Fantasy is, then I'm sure they're in for some surprises. And it continues, it turns out Monster Hunter Wilds director Yuya Tokuda and executive director Kaname Fujioka wanted Omega to make an appearance because they wanted to explore a whole new worldview in the game. That's interesting. It says, continues, quote, the first and foremost, the people who said that they really want Omega to make an appearance was the Monster Hunter team, Yoshida said. Continues, so, with regards to the reason why that is, it just so happens that last year at Gamescom, I went out drinking with Mr. Tokuda, who's the director of Monster Hunter Wilds, and also Mr. Fujioka, who's the executive director of the game platform. They told me that they wanted to achieve a sort of worldview, which behind it, there lies an unknown civilization, and it's a little bit different to Monster Hunter, what you could see in Monster Hunter before, and for that reason they wanted Omega to make an appearance because it would be it would expand rather on the worldview which they have added in the game and that battle experience, end quote. Yoshida added, quote, and also at the same time in the Monster Hunter team there are many warriors of light as well, similar to all of the players, and they remember the experiences they had battling Omega in Final Fantasy. Yes, and it continues here. If you're familiar with Final Fantasy XIV's Omega Raid series, you'll know that the backstory of Omega and its questline is considered to be quite sad. For this reason, some changes have been made for when the automaton makes an appearance in Monster Hunter Wilds, although some mechanics will remain familiar, so still larboard and starboard lasers, I'm guessing. Interesting. Quote, they wanted to kind of replicate that sort of experience in the game, so of course there are certain mechanics, for example, and so they wanted to see how they could create that sort of experience within the game. As Final Fantasy XIV players, when we think about what happened with the battle with Omega, we think about the Warrior of Light that had a battle with Omega, and then we remember that there was that small Omega that we have now, which has, we could think of it, that it has a heart and it travels around with Alpha, the Chocobo. And so from Final Fantasy XIV players' perspective, if they were to battle Omega, they might not be able to attack Omega. They would feel bad and they would feel sorry for attacking the Omega that they know, okay? And it's for this reason we decided that in the content will be implemented in Monster Hunter Wilds, it would be the same body of Omega, but inside it would be a different AI, as it were. And that's the reason why the Omega monster in Monster Hunter Wilds is called Omega Planets. And in terms of the story, in the collaboration content on Monster Hunter Wilds side, the Alpha and Omega will make an appearance, and they will join the Hunter as they go up against Omega Planets. And you can look forward to the reason why that happens in the story, end quote. So, not only have we got this crossover, but the way they're introducing it is similar to how, you know, a character would appear like, for example, in the Final Fantasy XV crossover with 14, where, you know, Yajime appeared, the Mikote Catgirl and basically told them about Garuda and that whole thing. So it's introduced with Omega and Alpha in minion form, presumably, telling them that there's an imposter, or at least a different version of Omega planets, and that's the storyline basically, and you have to combat it in Wilds. That's really quite cool, actually. But to see Alpha and Omega together as best buddies in Monster Hunter Wilds, that's going to be precious, isn't it? It's going to be absolutely precious, and it is a very sad story. I think you'll agree. Holy moly, there's only a few occasions in this game where I have actually, you know, teared up. That's one of them. The other was patch 5.3, I think it was. Whichever with the Crystal Tower storyline, let's say. Anyway, in addition, Yoshida said that Final Fantasy XIV development team has been in charge of supervising the story and thinks it will be an enjoyable experience for both communities. The director also confirmed that when it comes down to battle mechanics, the fight against Omega planets was designed for both casual players and hardcore players in mind. Interesting. The collaboration was announced as part of Gamescom 2025 Opening Night Live. More details, including release date of the crossover, expected to be announced at a later date, along with information about the free title Update 3, which is the upcoming update for Monster Hunter. So it's very interesting to learn that, well, the storyline is going to be potentially very enticing for people who have played the Omega storyline in Final Fantasy XIV, because it's the same Alpha and Omega on a little side adventure dealing with presumably a imposter in the form of Omega planets, but also the fact that you'll have your normal mode and presumably your much harder mode, similar to how we have normal and extreme in Final Fantasy XIV. The last time they did this was with Behemoth, and that was night and day between the difficulties of like the basic mode and then the hard mode. Absolutely night and day. The hard extreme version, holy moly, that was a challenge. I got it done, but it was a challenge in World. So I'm excited to see what Omega's like, and maybe we'll do some streams of that as well. But anyway, that's it for this little snippet. I thought it was worth sharing because the idea behind it, and the fact that we're going to get to see Alpha and Omega again. Link in the description. Go give Techradar some support, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.